An android named 2B is assigned the dangerous mission to eliminate a Goliath-class machine life form. Unfortunately, even before she gets to the enemy, her unit is attacked relentlessly by enemies. While she fights back valiantly, each member of her unit is eliminated one by one until she is left to fend for herself. Despite the obvious risks, she manages to continue fighting and eventually makes her way to the abandoned factory where the Goliath-class machine life form is probably hiding. 2B realizes that the factory was most likely built by humans and is now being used by enemies to create more machine life forms. There she encounters various non-threatening enemies. Meanwhile, another android named 9S that specializes in warfare is sent as backup. Around the same time, 2B is fighting a gigantic machine in the factory. She almost manages to take it down herself. But despite being on fire, it somehow gathers strength and launches one last attack. 9S intervenes just in time to save 2B from an unexpected attack. After they briefly get acquainted with one another, the duo starts looking for the machine life form and its core. While they manage to track down the core, there are no traces of the Goliath-class machine life form they have been looking for in the region. 2B soon manages to get to the core and suddenly the target makes its appearance as well. However, the building-sized machine will not naturally go down so easily, so they prepare for a long battle. After 2B and 9S come face to face with the Goliath-class machine life form, they realize that it is actually a building-sized machine that won't easily go down. Therefore, 9S decides to hack it instead, hoping that this way they won't have to risk anything. While he initially has some success trying to hack the internal mechanism of the huge machine, he soon realizes that it is recovering way faster than he has anticipated. Suddenly, 9S gets attacked and sustains some serious injuries. 2B immediately rushes to his side and learns that her vitals are concerning. While she wants to help him, 9S expects 2B to focus on the mission. Interestingly, the duo had managed to inflict some damage earlier and the hacking had managed to temporarily shut down the Goliath-class machine lifeform's functionality. This indeed afforded 2B some opportunity to complete the mission. After transferring the control rights of the equipment HO-229 from 9S to 2B, the latter uses it to fight the enemy. This time the attacks are even more effective than before, but just when it seems that the battle is won, 9S and 2B are surrounded by 3 more Goliaths. At this point, the duo knows that there is only one way to win the battle, and that is to self-destruct their black boxes, which they eventually do to destroy the Goliath-class machine life form. What happens to 2B and 9S? Are they revived? Why does 9S not remember anything after meeting 2B? After 2B and 9S together come to the conclusion that they have only one way to destroy the 3 Goliaths surrounding them, they self-destruct their black boxes. The blast is big enough to kill all the enemies in the vicinity. But this also means that 2B and 9S are annihilated in the process. But since they are androids and not humans, they do not necessarily die. It is then revealed that both of them are later revived in Yora's orbital headquarters as if nothing ever happened. When 9S and 2B meet again, the latter realizes that the former does not remember everything. It turns out that 9S had prioritized backing up 2B's data first and he did not find enough time to do the same for himself. So when they were incinerated in the blast, only 2B's uploaded data was accessible. Which meant 9S, despite being revived, does not recall anything after meeting her. Humans had experienced centuries of progress and development until the year 5012 when something on X. Earth was targeted by dangerous aliens and their army of machine lifeforms who managed to put the entire human race in an existential threat. With their backs against the wall, humans who survived eventually moved to the moon in order to regroup so that they can fight back someday. In the following years, they managed to create YoRHA and an army of androids to fight back against the aliens in order to reclaim the blue planet. In the present day, the resistance on Earth continues to fight against aliens for several centuries but has been doing so on its own. Since the communication between them and YoRHA has completely broken down, the commander summons 2B and 9S in order to assign them the mission to investigate the matter. Meanwhile, the resistance is itself busy with an important mission. Interestingly, a machine lifeform designated PLA-08 develops a strange affinity for knowledge. Unlike other machines, it ends up studying tons of books and has a strangely different perspective on life. When it once comes across a flower, it becomes so obsessed with it that it dedicates all its time to growing more of them. PLA-08 eventually manages to grow a lot of them, but his life ends tragically. Interestingly, shortly after the machine lifeform is destroyed, others like it start reading books too. The large-scale implications of the development are yet unclear, but it seems that the growing hunger for knowledge is likely going to shape the indirect human and machine lifeform conflict in inexplicable ways. Lily leads a team of brave resistance members who are entrusted with the responsibility to recover supplies from a not-so-safe region. Although the team is heavily armed and prepared, they do have really expect the kind of attack that eventually happens. All of a sudden they see an army of machine lifeforms approaching them. While they are able to shoot them directly, the resistance is soon overwhelmed by sheer numbers of enemies. When one of them eventually closes the distance and blasts, Lily immediately springs into action to get the wounded into trucks as soon as possible. Unfortunately, the ambush has not come to an end and there are countless machines still looking to attack them. When the struggle between the two forces becomes more intense, the resistance members notice that minefields do not work as effectively as they want them to. Furthermore, the injured need immediate attention, so Lily feels a distress call to the base is the only option they have now. One of the members suggests that they should contact Human Council for help, but others feel that they won't send reinforcements, so it's not worth trying. Eventually Lily comes up with a new plan. She tells her comrades to lure the machine lifeforms into the valley ahead and to blow up the bridge as soon as they are on it. But even when the machine lifeforms do walk on the booby-trapped bridge, the bombs don't detonate, causing a lot of panic. Luckily, 2B and 9S arrive on the scene just in the nick of time to help the resistance. They immediately blow up the bridge just as planned, which effectively takes out almost all the machine lifeforms. 9S notices that machine lifeforms do form groups, but this one, in particular, was surprisingly big. But it turns out that some of them are still alive. However, before they could do any damage, they are taken out by the pods there. After 9 seconds and 2B rescue the resistance members, they accompany them to their base. Outside they come across one of the parts of the Goliath machine lifeform. They get a warm welcome there and seem to get along well with the workers. That's when one of them asks 9S about the back that he is carrying on his back. Interestingly, he does not give a direct answer and claims that it is a secret. Later, the duo meets Lily, who appears suspicious of 2B for some reason. 9S notices this and even asks if she knows her, but before he could answer, Lily is interrupted by Jackass. 9S and 2B then accompany Jackass to a mission in the desert where they are supposed to investigate multiple machine lifeform sightings. In the meantime, Commander White finally reveals the real reasons for sending 9S and 2B to help the resistance. It turns out that assistance requests did not motivate her to send them, but instead the desire to use the resistance as a decoy was the main factor. Commander White feels that it is impossible to fulfill every assistance request since it can cause hindrances in other operations. In the desert, 2B and 9S accidentally come across a machine lifeform. Although 9S manages to hack it, he witnesses a strange ceremony that shakes him to the core. After 9 seconds witnesses the strange ceremony after managing to hack the machine lifeform that he and his comrades encounter in the desert, he is at a loss for words to describe what he is witnessing. Luckily, 2B manages to destroy it before it could potentially hurt someone on their team. But just moments later, 2 much smaller machine lifeforms emerge from underground but appear to rethink their decision to confront their enemies. They show signs of panic, which is strange considering they should not have feelings, before running away. 9S, 2B, and Jackass reach an abandoned human housing complex while trying to catch them. Interestingly, some unidentified radio disturbances cause communication problems in the region. They soon end up at a place where they find bodies of countless androids along with machine lifeforms. The place appears to be a graveyard of machine lifeforms, and suddenly 9S notices an inexplicable reaction from underground. As the land under their legs begins to sink, They end up in a strange underground dungeon-like place where they find small machine lifeforms strangely imitating human emotions. 9S feels that he cannot allow things to go on like this and decides to destroy each machine lifeform there. However, the hostile reaction leads to a strange chain of events in which the machine lifeforms rush toward a central body that is spherical in shape. Eventually, it opens up and a machine lifeform appearing almost human-like appears out of it. 2B and 9S are quick to attack it. Interestingly, it bleeds just like a normal human being after it is attacked and falls helplessly to the ground. But another similar-looking machine lifeform emerges from the corpse and unleashes a brutal attack, following which 2B and 9S appear to contemplate retreating.